Hi there guys, welcome to Dino's World. I am here with the Bajaj Freedom. The actual premiere has happened, the world premiere has happened. This is world's first CNG motorcycle made in India for the world. This is a dual fuel hybrid. So the key factors that you need to know, let's get started. First of all, it gets a 2 kilo CNG tank placed underneath the seat. It gets a trellis frame which acts like a fortified structure to protect the CNG tank, and also it gets 2 liters of fuel tank. So 2-liter fuel tank, 2 kilo CNG tank, and a total combined range of 330 kilometers. And the price starts from as low as 95,000 rupees. And this is the LCD console, and you can see we have others all taking clips. And this is one of the longest seat. They're claiming has very good cushioning, and also it has multiple endurance tests being done on this motorcycle, like a truck riding over this to demonstrate the sturdiness as to how well built it is. And up front, let's see whether we have LED lighting. Okay, so you can actually turn on and maybe turn on the blinkers, turn on the light. So this is how it looks. The tail lamp, turn blinkers, the tail lamp is LED, and monoshock is being offered. A pro-link suspension has been offered, and as you can see, this is how it looks. One of the longest seat, very well built. We have the button to switch between CNG and fuel on the fly, and you can actually start in CNG or fuel. The fuel basically is a backup, is what they claim. High beam, low beam, and you have the LED headlamp up front, telescopic forks, the Freedom badging right over here, alloy wheels, a nice soft thump to the exhaust note. You have a trellis frame which forms the chassis and also acts like a fortified structure to protect the CNG tank. Here you have the Freedom branding and the tire size. You gotta see. Let's see whether you can. It's 120 section rear tire and 17-inch wheels, neatly laid out foot pegs. Could have had a better fit and finish. Keel into shifter, nice and refined. And let's see how it sounds. That's how it sounds. So it has a clock right over here, gear position indicator, and a speedometer, CNG range, or kind of how much CNG is filled in. We'll switch to fuel, so it doesn't change, so it shows half tank almost. So whether it is, so they could have actually given us how much fuel is left and how much CNG is left here. So when you look at this, you have the CNG tank placement right over here. This is a transparent bike giving us a clear view of the engineering prowess of Bajaj. The trellis frame completely fortifying the CNG tank right over there. And this is the placement of the tank, and you have to see where the fuel tank is. Maybe this is the fuel tank, and yeah, the rest of the circuit over here. The engine, the pro-link suspension, 120 section tire, and this is the overall look of the transparent bike, which is being showcased just to understand as to how well they have built the motorcycle. Turn blinkers are here. So this is how it looks, and this is how it is made. Just a quick fire walk around. First look of the Bajaj Freedom, Humara Bajaj, made for the world. And this is the overall design silhouette. Has a nice forged clamp right over here. Disc brake up front. There are 3 variants. The most expensive one is this at 1,10,000 ex-showroom. The drum brake variant, that is the red color. So this is the red color variant, and this is a drum brake variant. So that is something you need to note. These are different color variants that are on offer, and that is the launch stage where launch had happened. Mr. Nitin Gadkari that graced the occasion. So first, let's look at the engine layout. First of all, it's a 125cc engine that puts out 9.5 PS of max power and 9.7 Newton meters of max torque, and it's the first time Bajaj have adopted a horizontal layout engine or engine orientation to be horizontal instead of vertical. So what difference does it make? Well, it is has a lowered center of gravity, so it results in reduced vibration and a more smooth and comfortable ride. Also, the bike ends up having a better planted feel because of its horizontal layout. Also, the horizontal engine actually interferes less with the frame design. So here we have a CNG tank to be accommodated in the frame. So I think it was much easier for them to go with the horizontal layout such that they can play around freely with the chassis design. Now here's the most important thing, the mileage. So it comes with a 2-liter fuel tank and a 2 kilo CNG tank. So the claimed fuel economy for the fuel tank is 65 kilometers per liter, which results in 130 kilometer range, and then for the CNG tank it's around 102 kilometers per liter. So that results in around 204 or 205, so which cumulates to nearly 330 kilometer of combined range of 2-liter fuel tank as well as the 2 kilo CNG tank. 330 kilometers of combined range. You could do the math yourself. Now the challenge with the CNG vehicles has always been good pickup. So for that they have offered a big bore and a big inlet valve to offer a good punchy low end torque and also good spread of torque throughout the rev band. Also, the high velocity port intake and the cam timing have been tuned specifically to allow pillion riding and to be far more reassuring and comfortable while tackling inclines. Now, for a seamless switch between CNG and fuel or fuel and CNG, they had to come up with something special such that we don't notice the change or lag when the switch happens. So, towards that end, they have offered 2 dedicated injectors and 2 specific engine maps for fuel as well as CNG, such that the transition between CNG and fuel happens smoothly and we don't notice any kind of a lag or any kind of a jerk when the transition actually or the switch actually happens. Now coming to the final verdict, well, it kind of took me by surprise when it came to the design. I was looking forward to a very plain Jane built for a budget commuter, but it had a pretty good modern kind of almost enduro bike design, especially when you look at that long seat mounted onto the tank. So you have that enduro feel. In fact, they say that the prototype that they came up with was having a enduro design, but then again they didn't want to intimidate people with a out of the box design, so they made it a little more commuterish such that everyone can embrace this design language for daily use. And then of course the fact as to whether it is going to really hit the nail on its head depends on the CNG supply factor, because we all know the kind of queues that form in the CNG filling stations with the cabs or the cars lining up one behind the other, like around hundreds of cars line up daily. So it all depends on how well CNG is made available, how universally it is made available, how quickly it is made available by the time these bikes reach the showrooms, and whether the bikes are bought first and then the CNG availability is pumped up, or whether CNG availability is pumped up such that people can invest their trust and buy these kind of motorcycles remains to be seen, and only time will tell as to whether this will be an absolute revolution or whether this will be a enthusiast or a revolutionary idea.